One of the things I've realized is that there's so many chemicals in laundry detergent and the soaps out there. So I either make it myself, it's actually pretty easy, or I use my green fills. If you go to chantelrayway.com/soap, I'll give you my free recipe for laundry soap. Or if you just feel like buying one that's really clean and not filled with tons of chemicals, you can get it there, chantelrayway.com/soap. Hey guys, I'm on my way home from being on national TV talking about intermittent fasting, and I'm answering the question, does intermittent fasting help you lose weight? Maybe you guys have tried intermittent fasting and lost some weight, but now you might just be stuck in a rut where you're not losing as much as you want. Well, I've interviewed over 1,000 thin eaters, and I've learned that intermittent fasting is just one of the tools they use. But there's so many more. There's 9 other principles that they use to stay thin. To get out of your rut, click here to watch this free video. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode, and I'm so excited to introduce to you Anna Cabeca. It's Dr. Anna, and she has written an amazing book called The Hormone Fix that's #1 on Amazon, and she's getting ready to release her next book called Keto Green 16 on May 5th. So welcome, Dr. Anna. Tell listeners a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Chantel. Happy to. So I trained in gynecology and obstetrics at Emory University in Atlanta. And then as a National Health Service Corps scholar, I came to a small town in Georgia off the coast. And I practiced in McIntosh County, which is a small shrimping village. And I really learned to be creative and helping clients empower their body, because financially medications, surgeries weren't always an option. And that led me to really getting back into food as medicine, which is kind of, I grew up with that idea that food was medicine, and a huge advocate in women's health. And that's why I did gynecology and obstetrics. But part of my journey, besides, being board certified in gynecology and obstetrics, and integrative medicine and regenerative medicine, I had my own personal struggles. So at age 39, I was diagnosed with early menopause and infertility. And I was told that I would never be able to have another child. And I failed at the highest doses of injectable fertility meds. And so it was, for us and our family, and part of my story and journey, it was trauma upon trauma. And I took a sabbatical from my work. Here I was, trained by one of the leading institutions in the world, and my doctor's bag was empty. I was struggling with symptoms, and I didn't want symptom care. I knew that was never the answer. And it took me on a journey around the world looking for answers. And that's where I learned about natural foods and herbs and medicinals, as well as other aspects that I incorporate and teach in my books, and that I brought back to my practice, because as a result of this journey and this experience, not only did I reverse my early menopause for nearly a decade more, but I became pregnant and naturally delivered a baby girl when I was 41. So she is now 12 and I'm 53, and I'm looking forward puberty and menopause coinciding. So God's timing. And so that was part of my journey. And then how I, lost 80 pounds and kept that off for a decade. And also just in the perimenopause time period, which hit me again at age 48, which was I was full-blown symptomatic with, the mood swings, the irritability, the memory loss, the brain fog, and the weight gain, despite not doing anything different. And, that journey took me to find the answer for us in perimenopause, even more so when we hit this age frame, the what I call the Keto Green solution, the Keto Green way to do things, about food and lifestyle that does make a shift. Because like you, I experienced in this perimenopause time, no clients tell you this all the time, but I experienced in this perimenopause time period what my patients came in experience. They would come in and tell me, Dr. Anna, I'm gaining 5, 10, 20 pounds and not doing anything different. And I was like, really? How is that possible? Sure, you're not, right? But that happened to me at age 48. I'd been maintaining my regimen, but within weeks, I'd gained 20 pounds. And if anyone's been I was over 240 pounds at one time. And I didn't know, would that weight gain stop. So that took me on this journey to find the Keto Green way.
I love that. Well, let's just jump into one of the listeners' questions. This is from a girl named Kelsey in Jonesboro, Arkansas. She says, my headaches are so bad during and at the end of my period. It's always right before my period and the end of my period. Thanks to you, I eat in a 6-hour eating window of eating and fasting the rest of the time. And I've lost 58 pounds now. And I heard an episode on one of your podcasts helping with headaches. And I bought one of your progesterone creams that you recommended that's on your website. And my friend said that if you get a prescription progesterone cream, it makes a bigger difference. First of all, how do I get prescription progesterone cream? And does it make that much difference to order a prescription versus on Amazon? Also, what else can I do? Thanks for changing my life and helping me lose so much weight. This is my first time ever writing in a question, but I would like some extra help on my headaches. Kelsey in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you, Kelsey in Jonesboro, Arkansas, for writing in. And it's a question that many people have. So there's a couple things going on. First of all, let's talk about premenstrual headaches or menstrual migraines. Sometimes they are. Menstrual migraines or menstrual headaches. So this is really important to understand what shift is happening. We can be progesterone insufficient. We can be estrogen insufficient during that time period. So working with a physician to prescribe you progesterone or only you can get estrogen by prescription. For like sometimes an estrogen patch during that time period can really help. What I found that was really helpful for my clients with menstrual migraines and headaches, premenstrual and postmenstrual, is number one, making sure that your red blood cell magnesium is adequate and optimal. So typically look for a level of 5. And that's red blood cell magnesium, not just serum magnesium. So all of this requires a doctor's order, or you can actually order at some lab self-testing. But that's an important thing. Typically, it doesn't hurt to supplement with extra magnesium. So I use a combination called Better Brain and Sleep, which has magnesium L-threonate, which crosses the blood-brain barrier, as well as magnesium glycinate. So optimizing your magnesium can be one of the things that help. The second thing is vitamin B2, B as in boy, 2, vitamin B2, taking on a daily basis premenstrual. And when you start to get that headache, you can increase a vitamin B2 every 1 to 2 hours. They're water soluble, so what you don't need, your body excretes, but you can increase your vitamin B2. So I've had clients do 20 milligrams of B2 a day and then increase it, even as much as 100 milligrams during a migraine, and that knocked the headache out completely. So that's another thing, just adding a daily multivitamin with methylated or active B vitamins. That's different than your Centrum, right? That has activated, really clean B vitamins will make a big difference. Methylcobalamin, for instance, for B12 versus cyanocobalamin for B12. So we want a very good form of your B vitamins. So you could just add that on a daily basis, but have an extra bottle of vitamin B2 on standby and magnesium as well. And the other thing is bioidentical progesterone. So I'm really picky. I did create a progesterone cream with pregnenolone, which are both the mother hormones, neuroprotective hormone. It's called my Pure Balance PPR cream that uses a bioidentical source of progesterone. So it's not a GAM cream, which can be stated as a progesterone cream and sometimes. And so your body's definitely going to react differently to that versus a more of a bioidentical cream. And then physicians also, oral progesterone is by prescription only. The benefit of oral progesterone over some creams are, especially if you have a difficulty sleeping, is using it in the evening to increase your, to improve your sleep, because oral progesterone is 90% metabolized by your liver into allopregnenolone, which helps support your body's production of GABA, the neurotransmitter that's our relaxing neurotransmitter. Like, to remember that, I always think of the rock group ABBA and the musical Mamma Mia. So if you've seen that feel-good sense, that's a good dose of GABA for you.
All right, perfect. This next question is from Santella in Houston, Texas. I'm in a weight loss slump. I've lost 20 pounds and I eat in a 6 or 7 hour eating window every day. But now, for the last 3 months, I haven't lost any weight and I'm creeping up 2 to 3 pounds. Help. I was doing so good and I feel like I'm not doing anything different than I was before when I was losing that weight. And now it seems like I'm either standing still or gaining 3 or 4 pounds. It's from Centella in Houston, Texas.
Hi, Centella in Houston, Texas. And that's a great question. I get that. Despite not doing anything different, here I am gaining this weight. In my new book coming out called Keto Green 16, which releases May 5th, there is I talk about 13 hormones related to weight and what's happening to your body as our hormones are changing, and a clear plan on how to conquer it, especially if you're in this perimenopause timeframe or you're stuck because your body's holding on to its fat stores for one reason or another. It can be toxins, mold toxicity. You might be incorporating a food sensitivity. You could be very acidic in your body. So something I have my clients do all the time, I'm looking for my urine test strips here, is check urine pH and urine ketones and get into the state so that you're actually bumping into ketosis and empowering an alkaline physiology. Alkaline physiology is when we can look at a higher urine pH, not talking about blood pH, but urine pH, we know that an alkaline urine pH is associated with less inflammatory diseases like diabetes, heart disease, obesity, dementia, and osteoporosis. So getting an alkaline urine pH is a vital sign. And I would check that. Are you real acidic? What's going on? Are there some stress things that could be interfering with your body's ability to, number one, get alkaline and to release and let go of the pounds you're holding on to? So I go into this in more detail in Keto Green 16, which I think will be a lot of ahas for you. But I hear you. And that challenge is sometimes we need to also have metabolic flexibility. We have to change things up a little bit and just discerning what's your next right step. What are you doing now? What's the next right step to move you in the direction you want to go?
Hey guys, one of the things that will take your weight loss to the next level is coaching. You can either work one-on-one with me or one of our certified private coaches. If you'd like, you can schedule your free call. It's a 10-minute strategy call just to see if coaching is going to really take you to the next level. The other thing is listening to the audiobook. Listening to the audiobook and getting the video course that I've done, people are seeing dramatic results. If you just listen to the audiobook 30 minutes a day over and over and over again and get the video course, go to chantelrayway.com and check out the video course. You won't be sorry you did. Hey guys, I want to tell you about a great product that you absolutely cannot live without, and it's called Digest Aid. When you're stressed, you might not be able to produce as much stomach acid. And if you're eating a little more right now and you're stressed, you need help to digest your food. My Digest Aid that I created has enzymes that are capable of doing just that. It has both betaine HCl, not just HCl, but an enzyme pepsin that helps your body digest your food, which is really unique. And right now, all of our products are 30% off. Go to chantelrayway.com, click on store, and get yours for 30% off. Just use the promo code PODCAST. I don't know about you guys, but I've been doing a ton of cooking lately, and I've been having so many new recipes. Go to chantelrayway.com/free recipes to get the best kale dressing recipe you'll ever have, the dairy-free artichoke dip that you will love for completely free. I also want to give you my entire free smoothie book that has the best smoothies. One of the things that can help you lose weight is just to replace one of your meals with an amazing smoothie. So if you're eating 2 meals, just make one of them a smoothie. You can get my free amazing recipe book at chantelrayway.com/free recipe. And our protein shakes are amazing as well. And right now they're 30% off. Go to chantelrayway.com, click on store, and use podcast for the 30% off your protein shake. Okay, awesome. This next one is, but before we move on to the next question, so Keto Green 16, explain that title. And I want you to give us a little bit of a background on why it's called Keto Green 16 and give everyone a little glimpse of that book. I can't wait for it to come out, but give us a preview of it. What's in it? And give us a couple of the top tips in there, would you?
Yeah, I'm happy to. And this is the book pre-release, Keto
Gorgeous.
16, and it has colorful recipes inside as well as a guide. So the background on that story about how I came up with just the Keto Green way is because I had practiced these principles to lose 80 pounds and keep them off for a decade, and then without, like Centrella said, without doing anything different, gaining this additional weight, right? And what's happening, our hormones are shifting. As we age, our reproductive hormones drop and our, pro-inflammatory hormones like insulin, cortisol increase. One of the other hormones that's decreasing as we age is called adiponectin. And adiponectin is one of our metabolism hormones. It seems to run by its own clock outside of our reproductive clock, but more to come on that information for sure. So when I started gaining that weight back, I went strict keto, but I didn't feel good. I felt keto crazy. I felt irritable, and I was really challenged. And can't do that. I was a single mom taking care of my daughters, being the sole provider, and was you just cannot lose your cool with teenagers in the house, right? And so that was when I was 48. And like I said, I'm now 53. And so at that time, I, didn't like how I feel, but I needed to understand why. I was a scientist and did exercise physiology research for the Navy before I went to medical school. So looking at the physiology of what was going on led me to urine pH testing. And I was as acidic as the pH paper would read. And so it was a huge aha moment for me. No wonder I'm feeling irritable. No wonder I'm feeling inflamed. No wonder my neurotransmitters aren't all calm and chill, despite being a hormone expert and managing my hormones. That's why I say it takes more than hormones to fix our hormones. It really does. And so that drove me into incorporating alkalinizers as well as combining foods to improve the amount of fat we're getting, because we need that for hormones, but staying low carb, but getting enough nourishment from the food we're eating to support our body's pH balance even more. And that supports hormone balance and keeps our glucose in check. And so as I was doing this, and recognizing how important the foods were, I also recognized that when I walked outside in the morning or did my gratitude journaling, my urine pH was more alkaline each day. And now we know that cortisol increases the acidity of our urine as a function of what it does in our body. And so that was just another aha moment for me. And so why 93%, according to the research, 93% of diets fail, because it's not just about what we eat, when we eat, who we're eating with, and how we eat certainly affects our metabolism, affects our body, affects our chemistry. And so so for me, Keto Green 16 came out after the Hormone Fix, and I really wanted a quick, short plan to kickstart, getting our body into this higher metabolic rate, as well as quickly as we could balance our hormones and do it as quick and cleanly as possible and simply. So the 16 Keto Green is about getting into ketosis and getting alkaline. And that's through not just eating healthy fats and proteins and low carbs, but intermittent fasting and no more snacking. So we are exercising our fasting muscle, exercising our autophagy muscle on a regular basis. And that's important at every age, but especially as we're getting older. And so in 16 days, Keto Green 16 is a 16-day plan with 16-hour intermittent fasting for hormone balance. I found that 16, again, this is a perfect number. 16 works really well for us to start to, definitely suppress our glucose stores and use up our glucose stores so that we can get into ketosis. as well as getting into autophagy. But 16 key food types that help with hormone balancing, digesting, supporting our microbiome, and our immune boosting and anti-inflammatory. So incorporating these 16 foods and also making grocery shop. I'm a busy mom, right? Making grocery shopping easier for us, and then also meal prep a lot easier too.
Awesome.
And then the number 16 is good too. Just the number 16 is about willpower, new beginnings, and accomplishing what you set out to do. So in studying the number 16, that's pretty cool too. And often we've already, this was brought up to me by after the fact in another interview, and someone said, when you there are very few. She goes, I can't think of any other 16-day plans. I'm like, neither can I. And she said, that's a really good thing because many people already failed 7, 10, and 21-day plans. So starting something new with a new number, a new duration can be really just, motivating, needle moving is what she said.
I like it. All right. This next one's from Anonymous. She says, first, your podcast, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. I think it's a girl. First, your podcast is one of my all-time favorites. This is a very strange question, but one of the things I've noticed is I'm eating a ton of oranges and grapefruits just because of COVID-19 trying to get my vitamin C, and my psoriasis is going crazy. Is there something related to the citrus fruits and my psoriasis? Just so you know, I am a nurse. I've already cut out all alcohol, and I know that when you drink alcohol, your blood vessels dilate, meaning more blood can get to your skin, bringing with it more of those pesky T cells. So I've cut all alcohol out of my diet. I've also gotten rid of all nightshades, including tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and white potatoes, because I know that these plants contain a chemical compound called solanine, which has been caused to show psoriasis. I've also taken out red meat. I've gotten rid of dairy and gotten rid of all my gluten. I've also gotten rid of ketchup, hot sauce, Worcestershire sauce, and vinegar. And now you're telling me I need to get rid of citrus fruits. I can't figure out why would these citrus fruits cause my psoriasis to become worse. Any thoughts?
This is a really good question, but this comes to food sensitivities, right? And citrus is obviously a food sensitivity for our anonymous author. So there's a huge reason we delay citrus feeding to our infants. It's because we can be highly allergic to it and can upset our immune system, can create GI problems. So that's why citrus is one of the last foods we introduce into a baby's feeding timeline. And that's really important to understand. So sometimes people with citrus sensitivities were actually fed citrus too soon as a baby and developed a sensitivity. That could be one of the reasons, but anything that is, number one, citrus is full of sugar. It is good sugar, but it is sugar. And I would eliminate that, especially if you have eczema. And in fact, I would, in my clients with exacerbated psoriasis or eczema, I put them on a type of fasting mimicking or extended fast, because we need 72 hours to heal the digestive tract. Now that's hard. First of all, thank you for our anonymous author. Thank you for your service as a nurse. That is so challenging. And especially now, we need to keep your immune system as healthy as possible. And your body is reacting against the citrus. So that's not helping you. Try vitamin C, see if that makes a difference. 2,000 to 4,000 IUs a day of vitamin C. But I would definitely stop the citrus. It's too much sugar. And again, certain vegetables and fruit that are very alkalinizing have too much sugar in them. In Keto Green, I omit them completely because we want to boost our immune system and boost our body's ability to regenerate itself and be more resilient. So I take out pretty much all fruit except for 3 digestive fruits. And that's one category in Keto Green 16. And that includes mango, pineapple, and papaya, but a little bit, like a quarter cup. These are great digestive foods, digestive enzymes. Those go a long way. But if they bump you out of ketosis, which I want clients to bump in and out of, but if they do bump you out of ketosis, then we eliminate them, because some people are still insulin resistant, right? We can be insulin resistant. And again, one of the other really powerful hormones in our body. So
yeah, and tomato sauce is another, like tomato sauce and citrus fruits like lemons, limes, oranges, and grapefruit. They're acidic and they can irritate the stomach lining, causing digestive problems. And I believe that all psoriasis is caused by gut issues. It's something going on in your gut that you don't like. So I would suggest, just cutting those out for a bit, and the tomato sauce as well, because it is so acidic. So perfect.
Yes.
Now, I want you to tell listeners a little bit about your other best-selling book and gives us a little bit of tips on what's in that.
Yeah, the Hormone Fix is really my magnus opus. It's honestly every book. It is the book I want every woman to read, because as a gynecologist and obstetrician, I'm triple boarded. I studied integrative medicine, I studied regenerative medicine, and I traveled around the world learning from indigenous healers and put it into a practical approach that's lifestyle medicine plus nutrition and things that most people have never heard about, right? So it's more the Hormone Fix, like as I said, it takes more than hormones to fix our hormones, is why our physiology matters and understanding how it changes as we age. So within the Hormone Fix, there is a 10-day and 21-day plan that's part of my Keto Green way, with recipes and guidance along the way. But there's so much more. There's discussions on our hormones. And in chapter 8, this is what I want everyone to read or listen to. It is in Kindle and audiobooks too. But about the stress, cortisol, oxytocin connection. So I go into part of my journey from losing a child and struggling through early menopause, and then struggling through divorce and one trauma after another for a long time, spiraling down. And then recognizing what I needed to do to pull myself out of what I call the dark, deep pit of hell that I was in. And so that journey, I talk about the journey and just the practical solutions that got me out of there, from there, and brain fogged and, going nuts, not to mention the weight gain, but to being able to write 2 books and lead online communities of over, 100,000 lives that I'm just honored to help serve. I'm here to just impart this information on everyone. So I go into the physiology. I also go into toxins and endocrine disruptors that aren't often being talked about. That are, we think we can be gluten-free and eat corn chips. Well, there may be zearalenone, which is a fungal toxin, a mycotoxin in our food sources that can cause hormone imbalance issues and infertility. And so a lot of aha moments are there. I've had both men and women, read and reread the pages of the Hormone Fix. And I feel that is certainly a book I want every woman to have, because it is a guide, and it is, I really made it as, it's not a hard read either. It's not like I definitely had help writing it and taking down my stories from medical case presentations to being stories. So it's a good read too. And I certainly share my story in that. And they were Keto Green.
I want you to mention some of those endocrine disruptors that you talked about.
Sure.
So give us some examples of some of those endocrine disruptors.
Yeah, and often, we think of stress. Stress is a huge endocrine disruptor. That's number one. But also parabens that are in many of our cosmetic creams and shampoos that are hormone disruptors, act as a fight with our own body's estrogen receptors, right? And other hormone receptors. So parabens, phthalates, and any of the petroleum any of the petroleums, there's a number of petroleums. Those are all huge endocrine disruptors, not to mention heavy metals like lead toxicity and how that can affect us, mercury toxicity. Then I talk about the mycotoxins too. All of them are endocrine disruptors. So whether it's I prefer to choose my toxins, right? My wine, my coffee, they're I find the research to support my vices. but choose our toxins. And so the makeup we're using, the hair stuff we're using, any skin lotions, I'm very, very particular. And that's why I created my own product line, because there was nothing out there to help me that met my standards. And so that's been part of my journey, my discovery. I now have 4 daughters. My youngest is 12. Then I have 20, 23, and 31-year-olds, and they all moved back in during this quarantine. So it's a full house, which I love. I'm definitely an introvert. So this has been a little challenging, but all good. And so when you think about other endocrine disruptors, we have to think about the chemicals in our laundry. We're using a lot of chlorine right now. Maybe we are a huge endocrine disruptor. So there are some better solutions that we can do. And I give some DIY examples in the Hormone Fix too.
Awesome. Well, this has been great. Tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Thank you, Chantel. So everyone just join me at my website at dranna.com. So Dranna, DRANNA.com. And I have a bunch of book bonuses with my book, Keto Green 16, including a quick start guide. So these are all digital copies, but I printed out a feast recipes because for me, I love feasting. And that's part of being Keto Green too. A beautiful quick start guide and a food roadmap to go with it, so that it just makes it easy and get started right now while waiting for the book to arrive. So, and I'm on Facebook at Dr. Anna Cabeca, and I have a Keto Green community there, as well as on Instagram at Dr. Anna Cabeca.
Awesome. Well, you guys stay tuned. We have another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.